All right, here I'm joined by Jack, Miko, and Tyler Nadolski. They are heading up the campaign called One Basketball, and they do a lot of great stuff within the community, fixing up outdoor basketball courts, raising money for basketball players throughout the entire North Bay, donating basketballs, and so many other cool things. We're going to get to all of that throughout this. Jack and Tyler, thanks for joining me. How you guys doing?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, very nice to be here, man. Thanks for including us on this podcast.
So I wanted to start off. You guys are both former Casa Grande basketball players. Unfortunately, I went to the better school, Petaluma, so I'm sorry to say that.
Oh man.
But
Hey, I don't know if
I
they
did.
ever beat us in basketball when we played on the record when we played.
You know, you're probably right about that. All I know is when I was in high school, I think we beat Casa 3 out of my 4 years. So it kind of goes back and forth.
Fair enough.
But I know, believe me, I know back in the day it was pretty one-sided. I had two older brothers who both went through Petaluma, and I would go to Casa Petaluma games, and I would be shocked if the game was remotely close after the first quarter. So I definitely know that feeling. But to kind of go off that, you guys, like I said before, you both played at Casa, you played for Coach James Forney, and I just want to get your take, either of you. I'll start with you, Jack, I guess. What was it like playing for Coach Forney?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think we're just so very, very fortunate to have been able to play under him. I mean, he really created our whole high school experience. I mean, when I look back and kind of reflect on Casa, the first thing that comes up is basketball and everything he gave us, including those lessons and the memories and experiences. So to be able to kind of come full circle here with this one basketball, a lot of it was really influenced by him and what he taught us. And Tyler, I'll let you go from here. But I mean, he was incredible and, a hero and father figure to us. And we miss him every day. But I mean, he had such a big presence that you still feel him all the time with you, even after
Absolutely.
everything.
Yeah, I mean, just what you said, Jack. When you think of when you say Costa basketball, you think of family. He was very, very big on family, and a lot of people after school they go their separate ways, different colleges. Their lives separate, but he taught us like you find a family, you stick with them, and I know most of our squad, our senior year, we are still the best of friends. We see each other quite often. We're always talking. I mean, when we are doing these projects with One Basketball, it's still half of it is our senior starting squad. So he taught us. He taught us. Family's huge.
Yeah, and he impacted us so much that it's the least we can do to leave our mark to kind of help him and help his school and help the basketball program, that we were fortunate enough to be able to play under. So it's the least we can do with all that he did for us.
Tyler, you had mentioned that it was a real family atmosphere there. Is that kind of what made Coach Forney so special and so beloved, not only at Casa, but throughout Petaluma and throughout the entire North Bay area?
Absolutely. I mean, that guy, he had such a contagious, atmosphere around him. He's a big family guy, Italian. So, he's family's huge in that culture, and he brought that to us, and anyone he met could feel that, he could talk to you about anything, relate, and make you feel like you're part of his family.
And that was when we broke, whether it was a workout or a practice or a game, we'd always huddle up and family on me, family on three, 1, 2, 3, family. And
Yep.
I'll never forget too, Tyler, that it was Christmas Eve and we had a practice scheduled on Christmas Eve at like 7 a.m. and all of us like flooded on in to watch some film, and we were all kind of cranky and thinking like, what are we doing here on Christmas Eve? Like, we can't get this day off. And he sat us down and he talked in front of us and he goes, now I know what you guys are thinking. Like, you're all here. You want to be with your families on Christmas Eve. Well, guess what? Like, Christmas is about being with family. And for you guys, you're my family here. And there's no one else I'd rather spend it with. And, this is our family. And instantly
Right.
all that, just kind of all that crankiness just completely went away. And it felt right to be there. So I'll never forget that. And that's when it really, you just feel the love and you feel the family, atmosphere. And we always had that, even if it was on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for those that are listening to this and don't know who we're talking about James Forney, who was the former Casa Grande boys basketball head coach, who unfortunately passed away far too young and back in 2015. So as you can tell by listening to these two gentlemen, he definitely made a lasting impact. One of the things that I really noticed when I would go to Casa games is the tremendous coaching staff that James would put together. And it's so funny. I've only told this story to a few people, but there was one year where Casa was playing at Petaluma, and Nick Jacopi at the time was the JV coach. And I remember Casa was beating the hell out of us at a Petaluma, like usual, at the JV level.
Naturally.
And I remember, and Nick is gonna laugh his ass off when he hears this. I remember saying to myself, I'm like, dude, what's that guy's problem? He's screaming at his players and they're up by 30 in the fourth quarter. And so when Nick came to Petaluma a few years later, I told him that story and he just started cracking up. And I just thought it was so funny. And now we talk, we talk, we stay in touch. I think it's kind of funny how that came full circle from me, like kind of not liking this guy to now totally liking him. And, he's great.
He's awesome.
But I wanted to know, what's that?
Oh, and I was saying Coach Yock has supported us so much with this too. I mean, every one of our old assistant coaches or head coaches, I mean, everybody's been so supportive and willing to help, and that part's been great.
Well, I wanted to ask, so, you guys obviously still have both a relationship with him, but, what was he like, playing for him? I think you guys both played from your freshman year. How important was he kind of laying that foundation for you guys coming in as freshmen? Because freshman year, if you're playing on the freshman team, is a bigger year than most people think, because you're kind of adjusting to the high school game and the kind of the grind of a high school season, so to speak.
I mean, like you said, everyone sees him from the coaching point where he's a yeller. That's just how he coaches. You get used to it. But, if you go sit down, he pulls you up to court, he goes to talk to you. I mean, he's not like that at all. He's calm, he's cool, he's collective, he explains it. But, it is intimidating at first. But, I mean, I know my whole high school experience, our coaches from freshman to JV, Coach Forney had them, to schematic. It was perfect. Coach Yacht got you ready for going up to JV or going to varsity. His coaching style is a little tougher. Like I said, he's young, but once you got used to it, it was like, okay, he's just getting that skin a little harder. So when people try to penetrate that, it's nothing. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's the thing about Petaluma is Coach Yock knew us when we were little guys playing hoops in St. Vincent CYO too. So Coach Yock has always been around and been a coaching figure for us growing up all the way through, even before Casa.
Yeah.
And what about let me throw, I want to get back to you guys' freshman team, the next question, but I want to ask about Stephen Walther, because I'm going to shout him out because he's the one who was kind of egging me on for me to get you guys on, and I'm glad he did, actually, because it's a great thing you guys were doing. I guess, Jack, I'll start with you on this. Stephen Walther is now at Stan Maroon with Pat Fahey, but what are your memories kind of being with them? Because it seems like, a lot's changed since when you guys played, not just the coaching staff, but just the game in general.
Yeah, Coach Wald's great. And Coach Wald is so willing to help and so energetic. I mean, he was one of the first people that's really helped get this thing off the ground, especially from a coaching perspective, just how well connected he is and how much he knows about the game. I mean, he's constantly pinging us, checking in, see if there's anything he can do, referring us to coaches, and really just uncovering a lot of like pains into coaching. I mean, that's the thing with these staff. They spend so many hours coaching, and it's up to them to not only like help coach us, but to raise funding on their own. So Coach Walt's like been a huge part of uncovering a lot of these things and helping us learn as we go.
And I mean, I can just tell you, if you guys picture, I'm sure both of you watch college football, and you see the strength and conditioning coach that's usually just jacked, hyped up, hitting people with their heads on their helmets and just getting you wild up. That's Coach Walt. The guy was just juiced all the time. And I mean, if he could,
Or tried to calm Tyler down from getting a technical like every single game.
I'm
Remember
just saying,
Coach Walt yelling, get him off, calm down, Nadolski, come down, Nadolski.
He's that strength and conditioning coach that is just juiced up all the time, but it just gives you the energy and the vibes, and that's what I enjoyed about Coach Wall.
Tyler, like I said, I wanted to go back to the freshman team you guys played with Coach Yock. And it's funny, I was talking to Coach Yock on Monday night, and I was telling him that I was going to talk to you guys. And he says, so when you talk to him, I want you to ask Tyler about his 3 at El Molino.
Yes. So
and he told me all about it. And so he wanted me to ask you about it. So go ahead.
So Coach Walt is, or not Coach Walt, sorry, Coach Yock. We were about to lose a game. I think we were down a couple, and I'm sitting there at half court, and he's like, all right, you're going to get the ball one more time. He's like, go ahead, shoot a half quarter. I was like, all right. I was like, I'm going to make it.
We had already lost it. We were going to lose the game.
And I said, I'm going to make it. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm sure. He's like, I'll even let you use the backboard. I was like, it's all good. I'm just going to swish it real quick. And, that's that. I get the ball, shoot it with 2 seconds left, nothing but net. I look at Coach Yock and I said, what'd I tell you?
It was the biggest prayer.
Too easy. It's too easy.
Easy. And what did Coach Yock say after that?
I forget what he said. I know he just looked at me and he just kind of like, huh. And I just remember, I forget what I said. I just walked off the court. I said, too easy.
Yeah, he called a shot. Coach Yock gave him permission to do it. He hits it. Yeah. And then I think Tyler and everybody went nuts too, even though we had already lost the game. Like we basically won right there with just that shot. We were good.
Hey, it's a low confidence booster going into the next one.
It was.
He actually had told me that El Molino team you guys were playing, he remembered it was really good, and it was kind of like it was nothing you can do. But I remember when he told me about that, I'm like, you know what, that is so funny. So he's like, ask him about it, and he's like, no, I will. So I'm glad you said that. All right.
Nowadays, when he pops off a little bit, I have to remind him about that.
That's great. Okay, so I do want to get to the one basketball sub because that's why we are here. And just to kind of go explain it a little bit more for those who are listening. So they do a lot of ball donations, basketball donations. They fix basketball courts. They were fixing the Casa Grande courts outside most recently, funding for coaches that you guys mentioned. And you can find all that at onebasketball.net. And you could donate if you feel so inclined to do so. I want to ask, I guess, Tyler, we'll start with you on this one. When did you decide to start doing something like this? How did you decide? Was it Coach Forney? Was it a particular event? I mean, kind of how did this start spearheading into what it is now?
Actually, it really all started with Jack. It kind of started when COVID started and the BLM movement started. Jack came to me one day and, as you know, keeping busy, trying to figure something out to do with your time during COVID. Jack kind of came to me and with this idea and a lot was going on. Jack was kind of doing a little self-reflection, I know he said, he's like, man, dude, he's like, crazy what's going on in the world. And like, we became boys just playing basketball, you and me. It was like, I didn't think much of you being black, me being white, where we came from, how we lived. And he's like, how cool. He's like, what do you think about this idea? We'll make this basketball. It represents, our idea behind, one nation equal. We're all just human beings, just living in the same world, trying to have fun and came to me with that idea. And I said, Jack, dude, that's awesome. I was like, dude, I would love to be a part of this idea. And we sat down one day and we just started writing ideas down and started putting our name out there to people and getting ideas and thoughts. And a couple months later, here we are. We kind of started making a name for ourselves. We're just getting started, but it's been a fun journey so far. But I think Jack could really hit on this a little bit more since this was really started with his idea, his thoughts.
Yeah. Well, and Tyler is a coach as well. So we quickly started kind of uncovering how many pains and problems there are with, public basketball programs and the lack of funding involved overall. They're really just, I mean, as Tyler knows and Coach Walt knows, and a lot of these coaches knows, when districts or schools don't have extra money to give, it's up to coaches themselves to raise funding for these programs, whether it be for new jerseys or equipment. I mean, you can see at Casa Grande, the hoops out there were on their blacktop courts were rusted and, the rims were bent. They're not even playable. And it's because, there really isn't, an organization that's spearheading a lot of this funding. So that's kind of the whole idea, is not only create this ball that represents this unity, because as Tyler and I know, growing up from playing third grade CYO together, like we never looked at each other any differently because of the color of our skin. So why not create a basketball that represents unity and equality, call it one, as in everybody coming together as one through basketball. And then athletes and kids can grow up like seeing this ball and understanding that message and have that spread. Well, all the while, why not donations from the balls and the money that we raise kind of be recycled back into public, basketball programs that need it, so athletes can have an equal chance to be able to play the sport as well, because it just doesn't really make sense, unfortunately, that, some areas can have so much funding and have the nicest equipment, and then other areas, and there's a whole lot of them that we're slowly kind of uncovering here that, they just don't really have the funding or means to be able to, have an equal chance to be able to play basketball. And so that's kind of our goal, is to become an organization that any coach can come to, that any school can come to, or area, to be able to get this funding to be able to provide kids an equal chance to play basketball. I know it's kind of a long-winded way of saying it, but we do that through the ball donations, through fixing courts. Obviously, the leagues are shut down right now, so we haven't really been able to pay any invoices. So that's why we've kind of pivoted to these fixing the blacktop courts so kids can safely practice during COVID and all that stuff.
I know you guys had mentioned about how Coach Wolf has helped you out, and Coach Yock, and I'm sure many others have. Are you guys working with any nonprofits to help with this? Are you working with the districts themselves, the school districts, the schools? Are you guys kind of cooperating with others to try and help expand this even more?
Yeah. So, I mean, for the first two courts we've done, the one in Marin City and then Casas, we have worked with the school districts in the city just to get that approved to be able to even do that. Because, I mean, both these courts that we've done so far haven't been touched in. One was 15 plus years. The other one was what, Jack, 17 years.
Yeah.
So I think they're like, cool. You guys want to do it, go for it. Mm-hmm. And then we have Jack. I'll let you kind of hit here on full court piece.
Yeah, because that was, Tyler and I, we were obviously eager to be able to get this thing up and running, but we were a little bit, I think, naive and what it took to start a nonprofit. So upon researching, I'm kind of like looking at other nonprofits that may be doing similar things, and there's this nonprofit that started on the East Coast called Full Court Peace, which is more or less the same thing, where they're really kind of bridging the gap in different communities and encouraging kids from different areas to come together through basketball. And they're an established nonprofit, and I reached out to their founder, Mike Evans, who's really helped us coming out. So he actually flew out from the East Coast to help with the Casa Grande basketball project, and they're helping us become this official nonprofit, partnering with them and through them. And so they've been a huge help so far. And then really, it's just, we're slowly starting to uncover more and more coaches. Coach Walt's given us plenty of referrals as well, and people to reach out to. But again, everything's been paused, with these leagues being canceled. So that's why we've really worked with Full Court Peace to kind of do their specialty, which is fixing blacktop courts and encouraging kids from different communities to do so at the same time. And then from there, it's been really just a learning curve of, Tyler and I reaching out to manufacturers and getting these balls, shipped from overseas. And we're slowly starting to figure out what we're doing, but we're kind of just running and gunning and figuring it out each day so far.
Yeah, just learning as we go.
Now, yeah, and I was going to ask, hopefully we can see those leagues get going sooner rather than later. When that does happen, what is going to be your guys' impact on that, or what are you guys going to try and do to help the kids that are playing in those leagues, but also the leagues themselves?
I mean, right now, like, it's been cool because even though like our original plan again was going to help, these teams, and we now pivoted to doing the courts, which a lot of schools in counties are starting to allow kids to be outside as teams to start doing things. So it's nice that we're getting these courts done so they're able to actually practice on decent courts once that is allowed. And then, hopefully with COVID, hopefully soon getting over it and people are going back to school. Our goal is, again, I remember we had to do a lot of fundraising when we were in high school, and Coach Forney was huge on it because, Coach Forney went to Oregon, so he was all about the Nike swag. And, I know like we had so much fun. It's like, how you look good, you play good, you have fun with it. And that's what, Jack was talking about. We want the kids to have equal opportunity. So we do want to get those invoices from coaches and be able to, get these guys some cool jerseys or, some socks. Like we'd always had cool matching socks coach would get for us for different games.
Or even just this, standard baseline.
Yeah.
Tyler and I saw from off-season games where, there are some teams that can't even afford matching jerseys. And that's, you don't want, no one wants to play when you can't afford these mismatched jerseys, but someone in the town next to you has these brand new nice jerseys. So ideally, we want to be able to provide that to them so they can at least have things that they need to be able to play this sport and kind of get an equal chance to do so. So that's kind of our goal. And what we're working at is just, let's see how big we can spread this and get the awareness out there so people know to come to us so we can help as best we can. And the other avenue is really ball donations too. I mean, and a lot of the Petaluma elementary schools, we've started to reach out, and kids need to bring their own basketballs to school. I mean, these elementary schools don't have funding for it. So ideally we'd like to connect those who are willing to donate to then, purchase the one basketball balls and then donate them to elementary schools and things like that. So they at least have these basketballs to play with, because otherwise they're just not doing that at all. And if kids, obviously, if there are no basketballs, then they're not practicing basketball, and it's just kind of a whole long cycle from there.
And on top of that too, I mean, it's being able to do that, especially in elementary schools, young kids, everyone's on, playing Xbox on their phone, PlayStation, everyone, you're not outside anymore with your friends. You're not getting outside, doing your 30 minutes of activity anymore. Everyone's just sitting there on their headphones talking to your
or
friends.
Outdoor activities.
Yeah, you got it. So like that's why we especially get those balls to the elementary schools, to the junior highs. Get outside, shoot some hoops, whatever it is you're gonna do, at least do it outside with your friends.
We just had a donor. We just had a donor donate 25 basketballs to the Boys and Girls Club in Stockton, who needed them as well. So that's kind of an avenue we're starting to pursue.
That's great. Are there other people involved that you want to recognize that you are either are donating, like you just mentioned right now, or helping you out in fixing of the courts or any in that capacity?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest is obviously Full Court Peace. Like, we're on the phone with them all the time. But I mean, the biggest shout out is everybody in the Petaluma community. I mean, our friends, Drew Bussey and Daniel Bryson, they've come out there and done this manual labor for us every single time. The Callan family was out there painting the Casa Grande courts with us, have been very generous with their donations. And it just seems that everybody is so willing to help, which Tyler and I are very, very grateful for and thankful for this Petaluma community. I mean, guys like Coach Walt are reaching out and giving us referrals to other coaches that may be in need and are kind of helping point us to the right avenues to get a little bit more awareness. I mean,
we also got Jimmy Burgraff, who's been shooting our videos for us and making those cool edits, and he's put a lot of time in with that and for us coming out, and capturing what we're doing so we can even spread the message and people are seeing these cool videos he's making. The guy's very talented and he's helped us quite a bit with that.
You can follow them on Instagram. I've seen those videos. It's at @1_basketball. And then you can go to the website, onebasketball.net. Here with Jack Miko and Tyler Nadolski. How can people who are listening get involved or donate? What can they do to help you guys, to help those in need?
Even reaching out will be great. We're constantly looking for help when we do fix, these basketball courts and forms of labor. But if they want to donate, I mean, we have a donation page on our website. We have a contact us page on there as well. So I think the biggest thing is just helping us continue to learn and uncover, areas in need or programs in need. Again, this is all very, very new, and it's been growing quickly, but it's still new. But yeah, they're more than welcome to donate on the website. But I think in the coming months, we should, and before we announce, I think in the coming months, we should have some more areas and ways that they can help that we'll be putting on our website. So just to kind of stay in touch with the website or reach out to us, whether it be on Instagram or anything, we're always looking for more and more helpers here as we're getting this thing growing.
Yeah, I know we had, I had a teacher message me the other day because she had a couple students who saw it, and they asked the same question: how can we help? Can we volunteer? How can we get involved? So it's simple as that. Just contact us, reach out to us, and we can let you know when our next project's starting. Or like I said, Jack said, we have a donation box on our site.
I think the biggest thing too, if you can find anyone, Michael, that knows how to cut us out as the middlemen shipping these all out, that'd be fantastic. We basically have like 100 balls coming in all the time that Tyler and I are storing at our houses, and then we're running around Petaluma, dropping them off, shipping them all out. So if there's some sort of middleman, or we're learning, we're getting there, but that's the biggest thing. We're afraid to even spread this too much because it's taking all our time to deliver them. So it's a work in progress on getting a fulfillment center or something, but that's a area we're working on.
Well, I'll do my best. And if anyone's listening, please help them.
My parents are pissed. They don't want these basketballs stored at their house anymore.
Well, you can donate to get those basketballs. Go to onebasketball.net, and I'll read the description here on the website. It's black with white stripes and a gradient logo. Our ball represents everyone coming together as one through basketball, regardless of background or who you are. We recognize the power of unity through sports, and we want to spread that message with each basketball, bringing together all athletes as they play with it. Everyone is equal on the court. And of course, all donations are recycled back to public programs and facilities. Donate $40 to get a one United Through basketball. There's the standard size, 29.5 and 28.5. So you can donate, receive a basketball, and you can help, as they said, with fixing the courts or anything like that. I guess my final question to both of you is if you have some sort of final message about your campaign, about what you guys are about. And I guess, Tyler, we'll start with you on that. And then Jack, you can finish us off. Any final message you want to share about One Basketball?
Guys, we are doing this. It's fun for us. We want to help out as many people as we can, many schools as we can, communities as we can. This is, we want to carry on Coach Forney's legacy, and anyone who was touched or got to know him knows, the type of person he was and how much this means to us. We just want to give that same type of energy to everyone else. We appreciate the support. It's a journey that's just starting, and we only see it going up from here. So thank you for having us on, and thank you for everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's just really important now more than ever, this past year, to really focus on unity and equality and understand that we all are people and we all are very, very similar in our own ways. And it's important to come together, when we can. And the way that Tyler and I have really known it is through sports and through basketball. And so that's what this is really all about, is just spreading that unity and coming together. And there's a lot of power behind it. And we're hoping to be able to kind of leverage that and the support that we're getting from, the town and everybody to kind of give back and, kind of improve this thing overall. So yeah, that's it. We're learning. And donate. No, just kidding.
Well, no, it's okay. Please donate. It would help a lot of people. So again, onebasketball.net, all the information is there about how you can get involved. You can donate. You can contact them if you want. You can follow them on Instagram at @1_basketball. And Jack and Tyler, thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for coming on. You guys are representing the town of Petaluma really, really well right now. And you guys are doing great stuff. And I can't thank you enough for not only what you're doing, but again, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We appreciate it. Means a
Yeah,
lot.
man. Thanks for having us. This was fun.
Take
Appreciate
care,
it.
guys. Thank
Well.
you.
Thank you.